The Acolyte was a massive failure. Nobody watched it. It had the lowest ratings of any Disney Star Wars show out there, which is why it got canceled. And that's the main reason it got canceled. But it's funny, there's something going on right now, and it's not surprising, but it's funny how they can get away with this. And what I'm talking about is a large number of Star Wars YouTubers, mostly YouTubers that support Disney, Lucasfilm, and love everything they do. Everything that they've made has been amazing, awesome. I'm sure you're shocked to hear that the people that have access to Lucasfilm all love everything they do. Now, I'm not saying everybody in this picture is involved in a lot of this stuff, but some of them are, notably the three on the right, especially the one that's running this campaign, Star Wars Explained. So Molly here is a YouTuber with her husband on the left, and they are pushing for people to report Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers, which is very much against YouTube TOS. That's called targeted harassment. I'm not calling for anything to happen. I don't think anybody should be flagged, especially over some bullshit show that got canceled. Such a dumb thing to do. But they're out here pushing hard for it. And I think the other guy in that picture, I think this is this Kyle guy that's in this picture right here. It sure looks like him. This is his Twitter account. And here he is hanging out with Kathleen Kennedy. Just like in this picture, you see Molly and him hanging out with Dave Filoni and Leslie Headland. Well, why is this relevant? Well, this entire campaign to call, they made a video. I'm not going to show it. They made a video of Milo Yiannopoulos talking about his playbook. And then they started showing videos of Nerdrotic and members of Geeks and Gamers and trying to say that they're all bigots, which is such bullshit. And they're bringing up the same stuff, like that picture that Nerdrotic dropped where he says, let's talk about it. A dad joke about that Blue Beetle movie that came out, which part of the joke is the entire movie, the main characters in them are obsessed with tacos, which was part of the joke he was making with the thumbnail, which tells you that the people that were upset on the movie's behalf didn't even see the movie. But I digress. Let's get back to this. So this show, big failure. And there's now a push to go after Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers by an account called Writing Ripley. Now, they appeared not that long ago. They're the ones that made this graphic here and are pushing it around, which everybody is using. This was made by Rewriting Ripley, who has me blocked. But they came out not that long ago going after people for making fun of Star Wars and doing the same thing, calling people bigots and such. And now they're doing it again. It's important to note that this is Rewriting Ripley because Rewriting Ripley has ties to Lucasfilm. So I'm not making this claim without some evidence here. There is evidence that Rewriting Ripley has ties to Lucasfilm. There's pictures of people hanging out with members of Lucasfilm, getting access to Lucasfilm, especially from Kyle, who has a picture of him and Kathleen Kennedy all smiles together. Now, this makes me think that somebody at Lucasfilm decided, okay, well, let's once again try to take these channels down. And I'm going to tell you, taking these channels down will not get people to watch your shitty shows. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen. But here is a video from Aiden Paladin's YouTube that Anna, that Star Wars girl, found and posted. It's 2 minutes, and she upped the speed. I'm going to play this. And I want you to pay attention. so that you can see what's going on here, because it's pretty obvious to me that you have people at Lucasfilm coordinating with rewriting Ripley, and then rewriting Ripley is coordinating with other Star Wars YouTuber accounts and people on social media to try to take down their competition. The people that are actually getting views. What's funny is Nerdrotic's video on the Acolyte actually had more people watch it than watch the Acolyte. And it's not just the Acolyte that's failed. Star Wars Outlaws is failing. The reason that this is happening isn't because of Nerdrotic. It's happening because your products are shit. And you've ran this into the ground. So here is this video. And I want you to watch this and see what I'm saying, because it's pretty damn obvious that something's going on here with these companies like Lucasfilm and trying to push people and deplatform them.
Every single person mentioned in this hit piece that she has arbitrarily labeled as alt-right. I don't like cancel culture, but Katie seemingly does, and all I can say is that when you promote and engage in a certain behavior, how can you feign outrage when someone else does it to you? A possible collaborator of Katie's is Michelle, who publicly asked to help on the Rewriting Ripley project, and I feel I really need to introduce this player in the game by pointing out how she asked for academics to please respond to the proposed assessment of alt-right Star Wars fandom rabbit holes. Well, once again, I am responding. Now, why does this matter, and how does this all tie back to Disney? Well, because when Rewriting Ripley had less than 600 followers on Twitter, a number of those followers were Disney employees, namely Lucasfilm Star Wars creative executive Pablo Hidalgo. Hidalgo previously got into some hot water on Twitter after telling a fan who posted a tearful reaction to the appearance of Luke Skywalker in The Mandalorian that, quote, emotions are not for sharing. But this alone was not enough, as he decided to make a screenshot of this tweet into his Twitter header and then lock his account when he received backlash. It does seem a bit odd that this creative executive would be following an account with less than 600 followers that just started, but hey, maybe it's completely organic and random. However, it's a bit harder to believe when you understand that Michelle, the woman who asked to help Katie with the Rewriting Ripley project, is a social media manager for Lucasfilm, and also manages social media for Nerdist. Further, Rewriting Ripley notes on their website that one of their writers is a Webby Award winner, but neither Katie nor Lady V have won a Webby. Michelle has, indicating that Michelle is potentially working for the website in some capacity. So let's break down what that means. Michelle is, or at least was, a Lucasfilm employee, specifically a social media manager. She reached out publicly on social media to work with Katie and Lady V, both self-professed Reylos, on what would become the Rewriting Ripley site. And there seems to be some evidence that she is working on that website due to the mention of the Webby Award. Despite being a brand new podcast and project with about 600 followers on Twitter, within a few weeks of starting this up, major higher-ups at Lucasfilm began following Rewriting Ripley. What's the first big thing that Rewriting Ripley then does? Well, it's published what can only be described as a hit piece with a thin veneer of scientism, aimed at people critical of the Star Wars sequels. Written by Reylos, an almost undeniably toxic aspect of the fanbase, if any fanbase can be described as such, and with seemingly both direct and indirect ties to Lucasfilm from before the project even got really rolling. I must ask you, dear viewer, do you think the Rewriting Ripley post, the supposedly scientific analysis that we have just discussed, was made with malice, or was this just an organic response to an organic response, which they conveniently claim in their so-called analysis was also not an organic response?
Now, I've been following Disney Lucasfilm for a long time. I've heard things from people that work there. I've heard things from other people that know people that work there. And I've shown you this video, influencers hanging out with them. And I got to tell you, just based on all I've seen and heard with this company, it's pretty clear that they're full of vindictive people, childish people. Seems like it's run full of a lot. The business is ran by a lot of just high school mean girls that want to just take people out that don't agree with them. And it really does kind of show a mentality of the company itself when you look at the products they put out, because they refuse to change. They have doubled down on everything that they've done there, and they keep putting out the same bad products over and over again. People don't like them, and they get more mad. Like, look at Marvel, for example. Marvel is trying to change. It's very obvious when you look at what's going on. There's rumors of them getting rid of activists. I mean, we saw it with Victoria Alonso not that long ago. And whether or not they do end up changing, I don't know. But I'm saying this to compare them to Disney Lucasfilm, which out of all the other companies right now that are scrambling to try to fix things, they just double down and keep going. And then when it doesn't work, they lash out like this. And I do believe that somebody at Lucasfilm probably gave the go-ahead for something like this, or maybe just kind of planted the idea. I mean, it's rather odd to me that we see some of these influencers hanging out with these people, and then we have former community managers forming this company, Writing Ripley, which is full of Reylos. And if you don't know what that is, those are shippers who love the idea of Rey and Kylo Ren hooking up, so much so that some of them harassed Adam Driver's wife because they wanted him to divorce her so that they could somehow get Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver together in real life because they love those two characters having sex so much. I'm not kidding either. If you want to talk about a toxic fandom within Star Wars, it's the Reylos, not Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers. That's ridiculous. So that's all I can say about it. There's evidence that these people have connections to Lucasfilm, and it's funny that they all kind of come together and start attacking other YouTubers. And it's really funny that that's allowed on the platform. You see them go after people for off-site behavior all the time, but when it's people that agree with politics that, line up with other people in YouTube, nothing is done about it. But they're allowed to sit there and try to deplatform people left and right all the time. I haven't seen, to be fair, though, it's not all, this is the only time I've seen some of them do this, but, I mean, one time is kind of too many in this aspect, especially when you consider parasocial relationships that people have with big YouTubers. And when they tell people to go and report channels, they likely go and do it. And in today's YouTube, you have these bots that just go, like, look at Drunk 3PO got his channel demonetized for reused content, which is bullshit. It's not reused content. He's transformative content. But it happens that easy. So it's really messed up that this is happening, and I find it disgusting. I would never advocate for anybody being deplatformed or demonetized, especially as a YouTuber. You don't do that. You don't do that. It's disgusting behavior, and it's disgusting that it's accepted. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I'd like to hear from you. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.